Welcome to Phrasal Verb Practice. This is the place to learn real English, one phrasal verb at a time. My name is Marissa, and I'll walk you through this learning journey. Hello, everyone. Trust you're all well. In today's session, we'll cover and practice the phrasal verb bring out. So, let's talk about how we actually use bring out in real life. This phrasal verb has a few common meanings, and they all show up a lot in everyday conversations. First, let's start with the most concrete one. When we say bring out, we mean taking something from inside and making it visible or ready to use. For example, she brought out the photos from the drawer. Can you bring out the chairs for the guests? He brought out his notebook during the meeting. Now, there's another very common way we use bring out. We also use bring out when something highlights or emphasizes a quality or feature. So, when we say bring out here, the idea is that something becomes more noticeable. For example, that color really brings out your eyes. The lighting brings out the details in the room. This exercise brings out your strengths. There's one more important meaning to know. We use bring out when something causes a feeling, reaction, or behavior to appear. Basically, a situation can bring out parts of someone's personality. For example, stress can bring out the worst in people. That comment brought out her confidence. Teamwork brings out the best in him. So, the idea here is simple. All the meanings of bring out are about making something appear or show up. It can be an object, a detail, or even an emotion. Now, let's quickly see how bring out sounds in other languages. In Spanish, it's like sacar or resaltar. In French, you'll hear sortir or faire ressortir. In Portuguese, trazer para fora or destacar. In Italian, tirare fuori or mettere in evidenza. In German, hervorbringen or herausbringen. In Japanese, hikidas or ibautenidas. And in Chinese, nachul or xian. People usually use bring out in a few clear situations. For example, when they take something out to show it, when they want to highlight a quality or detail, or when a situation causes emotions or reactions to come out. Now let's hear some examples to pull everything together. She brought out the documents during the meeting. This is about showing something. This jacket brings out the color of your shirt. This is about highlighting. Pressure can bring out bad habits. This is about reactions. He brought out his ideas clearly. This is about emphasis. The situation brought out her leadership skills. This is about behavior. Now let's talk about grammar in a simple way. The phrasal verb bring out is separable. So here's what that means. You can say, bring out the report, or you can say, bring the report out. Both are correct. Structure. Bring out plus object. Bring plus object plus out. Here's the key point. When you use a pronoun, it goes in the middle. So we say, please bring it out. She brought them out. Now let's practice. First, you'll hear a short text about everyday life. Then you'll hear another text in a professional or office situation. Are you ready? Let's start. It was a quiet Saturday morning, and the house felt a little empty, so I decided to clean up the living room. When my parents came over later, I planned to bring out the extra chairs from the closet so everyone could sit comfortably. While I was looking for them, I found a small box with old photos, and I couldn't help but bring out a few albums to look through before they arrived. As I flipped through the pictures, the memories started to bring out smiles without me even noticing. Some photos showed family trips, others showed simple moments at home, and all of them seemed to bring out feelings I hadn't thought about in a long time. By the time my parents rang the doorbell, those memories had already brought out a warm, relaxed mood. During lunch, my mom told a funny story from years ago, and it somehow brought out laughter from everyone at the table. Even my dad, who's usually quiet, started talking more than usual. Situations like that really bring out the best in people, especially when everyone feels comfortable and connected. Later in the afternoon, my friends stopped by to help me plan a small trip. I brought out my notebook to write ideas down, and we talked about places we used to visit. That conversation brought out excitement and a little nostalgia at the same time. It also brought out her creative side, and suddenly she was full of ideas. In the evening, we cooked together, and the music playing in the background brought out a calm, happy feeling. By the end of the day, I realized how simple moments can bring out emotions, memories, and even parts of ourselves that are always there, just waiting for the right moment to show up. Great, that was the first text. How many times did you hear the phrasal verb of the day? Now, let's move on to the second text. The day started with a project review meeting that everyone had been preparing for. Before it began, I brought out my notes and set them on the table so I could stay focused. As the discussion moved along, our manager asked a few direct questions, and that pressure started to bring out honest opinions from the team. When it was my turn to speak, I shared an idea that had been sitting in my draft folder for weeks. Saying it out loud really brought out the value behind it, and I could see people reacting differently once they understood it better. The conversation slowly shifted, and the meeting began to bring out a more collaborative tone instead of the usual tension. Later that morning, I worked with a teammate on a client presentation. We noticed the slides felt too dry, so we decided to bring out a few real examples to make the message clearer. That simple change helped bring out the story behind the data, and suddenly, the presentation felt more human. In the afternoon, we received feedback from a client call. My manager asked me to bring out the key points in a short email for the rest of the team. As I wrote it, I realized how clear feedback can bring out better decisions when everyone is aligned. Toward the end of the day, a small issue came up with a deadline. Stress started to bring out frustration in some people, but instead of letting it grow, we talked it through. That conversation actually brought out a solution no one had considered earlier. Before leaving, I packed up my laptop and brought out my planner to organize the next day. I walked out feeling tired but satisfied, knowing that good communication can bring out the best work, even on challenging days. Great, that was the second text, and that's all for today. Thank you so much for following this channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!